what is Babar's father's name? I had no clue. So I said, I don't know. And the interviewer said, okay, interview is done.
Today, if I ask you, what is the definition of freedom to you? What would you say?
The biggest challenge that you will face that these companies are not willing to do that correction before implementing AI.
As a reality check, how many months of expenses you had with you? You had the runway basically, which you took the plunge.
Yes, there was a corpus, but I don't know how many months it could have survived me at that point. Personally, I do not believe there is any financial freedom at all. We are talking about that money cannot buy anything. But to say this, you have to have a lot of money.
Enough.
Right?
Were you exactly the same kid or it's completely changed over the period of time? Can you take us to your childhood?
Definitely, life has changed a lot. Unfortunately, whatever I have planned never happened in my life.
This episode is supported by our guest experience partner, Sona Cakes and Bakes, a Kolkata-based FSSAI certified home bakery known for its customized and delicious cakes, which they deliver with care across the city. They have helped us curate and create a thoughtful and memorable experience for our guest today. Welcome to Bridging Ideas. Today's episode, we are honored to have Tamal Dutta, Managing Director of Skybuffer India, and he is also the Managing Director and Chairman of Alphaxine Group. With a sharp vision for the future and a proven track record of building and scaling impactful ventures, Tamal has been instrumental in driving forward-thinking solutions across industries. His leadership reflects a blend of technological insight, entrepreneurial spirit, and a commitment to creating a sustainable value. In this conversation, we will explore his journey, the ideas shaping his work, and his perspective on the evolving business and innovation landscape. Whether you are an inspiring entrepreneur, a business leader, or simply curious about what drives success in today's first and new world, this is a discussion you won't want to miss. I am your host, Supriyo, and let's get started. Welcome to Bridging Ideas and welcome to the show, Tamal.
Thank you, Supriyo, for inviting me to this podcast. Thank you, Bridging Ideas, to create this platform to actually bridging ideas into probably the audience, within the audience, greater audience. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here. Setting up the stage, while I had a discussion with you with the off-screen, off-the-screen discussion, you had a very successful journey in corporate. And one fine day, you decided to leave that and start something new. What was the trigger point?
Answer this question. So I'll just step back a little. So it's a eventful journey in the career. So I started my career with the mining industry. And one fine day, I decided to quit. And then from mining I jumped to software. So to SAP. So while doing that transition also, it was on one fine day I decided to move on. And I went to Norway, Capgemini Norway, then deployed into different part of the world, different part of Europe.
And this is in which year?
So this is in 2013.
2013, okay.
So in 13 we were, so I was in Europe, Eastern Europe and Norway, mostly traveling 3 days in Norway and 2 days in Germany. So that is where I was into the IT world. Before that, it was all domain mining and eastern part of India, Bihar, Jharkhand, and West Bengal. So it was a different life altogether in IT, because I was not aware that meeting can happen through digital mode, because before that it was always traveling and meeting in person. So that's the first thing in life changed during that period. So in 13, while we were doing a lot of projects in different part of European state, and I was fortunate enough to work with 4 different big companies from Capgemini. And the trigger came that while doing all these projects for Capgemini, and as I was also leading a team, I was also aware of the pricing, then rate cards and all. So we were just thinking, why not to start a own company and cater to those clients where we are already working. So we had a very good relationship with the client partner, client managers, and one fine day, 4 5 people, we decided to move on and create our own companies. However, it was a challenging thing. So we decided few people will move out and build the company where we will be still continuing with the job just to fund them and create that sustainability and runway. So this is how it all started in 13, later part of 13, while we were still in the working zone. Now, while the new company is also dealing with the IT products and IT services, and me personally working in the IT domain, the problem started. It is a kind of conflict of interest. So while the new company was small, the clash was not there. So we were just dealing with few small companies, few clients, loan staffing, and all these things. But while we are bidding for the projects, so the new entity is bidding for such projects where me as a part of my employment, I am also bidding for my company. So this is a classical problem where I also know the commercial part of it and from both the side. So then I decided to come back to India, and we also decided to start our India journey. So this is how I left the entire corporate life and completely moved into the business.
The one you said, that conflict of interest, and I believe this is one of the common dilemma which oftentimes every professional face whenever they think to start something. They have one side their job, and they are something in their mind to start new, and they think that, okay, how should we proceed, because there will be a conflict of interest. If I ask you that, how was your life back then, and how was your life now?
So to summarize, when I was into job, there is always a fallback option. You always have your manager's manager, and the board, and then probably the stakeholders, shareholders. So there is always someone who can guide you, or else there is someone on which you can give your you can fall back on someone, right? So it's not you have a responsibility, you have an ownership, but there is always someone to help you. Now, once you jumped from that employment to the transition of becoming an employer, the problem starts. You do not have a fallback. So your team will start falling back on you, and you need to take the right decisions. But in the business world, probably I also don't believe that there is anything called a right decision. So you have to take a decision, and eventually it will come either as a right or a wrong part of it. So you need to accept it in the process. If it is a right decision, you will move forward. If it is a wrong decision, you need to learn, and also you need to learn how to thrive from that wrong decision towards the right decision. This is how the life will go on. So in terms of mental peace, work life balance, all these things, so both are having pros and cons. Uh, Independence, definitely yes. In the business where you own the entire ownership, you have more flexibility and independence. But having said that, you have the more ownership towards driving your entire team. So in the company, what we are going to do is we are bidding for a project, or we are delivering some projects. We don't need to think about how to earn money for the employees. It is always talking about the profitability, contribution margin, and all these things in the company's profit and loss account. But when we are talking about a business, it is always we need to focus into earn money for your team. So that's the biggest mind change that needs to be changed, because it's not only about me, it's entire team.
In job, you are only responsible for your work, maybe your elevated level, but not to your downstream. You're not accountable for any of the team members, whether they're getting paid or not. It's about your salary is getting credited, you're all good.
Yes.
But in terms of entrepreneurship, it's totally different. And I was listening to a very famous podcast where it was told that once you are a CEO, the whole team, the whole company will show you the fancy slides, all the fancy slides, all the good numbers. And it's a very difficult job for a CEO to find out the problem because nobody wants to show the problem to the CEO. So in relation to this point, I want to ask you something. When you thought of to starting this, what kind of fears you had back in your mind?
This is a very right point that whenever we are big in terms of company size, whether it is a new startup or an established company, so whether it is a business or an employment, the problem is people are always showing the brighter side of it. So be it in LinkedIn, any video podcast or any board meeting. So always we discuss about the positive side of it. But while you are driving a company, you should always focus into the what is wrong, what is going wrong in the company. Because whatever is brighter will be in the brighter phase until some time. But if we don't correct the path which is in the wrong direction, then that will affect in the brighter side of it. So first thing is you should create a very transparent environment within the company so that your next level or the bottom level of your company should come to you and say, boss, this is something which is not working. And we need to reimagine the process and we need to solve the problem as soon as possible. This is somewhere probably in the bigger companies also happen, but the change management in the bigger companies are always difficult to have. But in the small area, when we started, so the first fear that we had at that moment that we need to get some cash flow to run our journey. So we need to have some quick wins. So for quick wins, we used our own contacts, connects, and relationships. But when into the journey, we started into that process, we were thinking to build a culture within the company to have a flat structure and a transparent process so that whatever is happening, good or bad, should come to the top level. And we should try to focus in both the areas. Good should be maybe not best, but probably we should try to be better in the good areas. And what is bad, we should try to make it good. So that is how we are still trying to do it, and probably we will be trying to do it.
And that is actually working in your organization.
Yes.
So I must say you are very fortunate enough to create that safe environment in your team, within your organization, because oftentimes people don't feel safe to pass this information that, as you said, boss, this is not working. We need to rethink or we need to change the process. Everybody is more fearful to show this up to the next level. It's good that you are able to establish that process.
Whenever we are a team of 50 or 100, it is easier to maintain such culture within the company. But when you are trying to grow in numbers, the problem will start coming in. So the first problem you need to deal with the office politics. So people will do backbiting within the team and all these things. So in the top, the problem is you cannot handle all these things because you have more priorities to get more business and manage your relationship, client relationship, probably stakeholders and all these things. So it is important to choose your first 50 or 100 people so that they can carry the company culture towards the next generation or downstream. Having said that, our thinking as a company that we will not grow beyond, say, 200 to 500 people. The reason is once we reach that number, there will be some So in our engineering days, we read about avalanche breakdown in electronics.
Avalanche burst.
So normally what happens when the number is growing fast, this kind of breakdown comes in.
Yeah.
So we thrive to build our company as a product company going forward. And in the product development cycle, we don't need more people. We need capable people and smart people. And as we know today, one beast is within the room is called AI. And with AI, many things can be done with less number of people.
Yeah.
Though people are scared of using AI because of job loss, but I don't think it's a problem. Effective use of AI can boost efficiency and effectiveness. So if we can use that in a right way, we may have a smaller team but an efficient team.
And since you said that AI has been a buzzword everywhere, it's been almost inevitable that it started sitting in all the business functions, be it in HR, be it in manufacturing, even not in the functions, but also the industry. All the industry is happening now. The AI is sitting all over all the industry. So
I will say not sitting on every industry. Everyone is thinking to go with AI, but they don't know what to do with AI.
One common question which I oftentimes get, can I solve this through AI? Now, people started thinking that AI, if we do not adopt AI, this probably we will be behind in the competition, where they may not have the use cases. They don't know if they have the use cases, but they need to adopt AI. This is one common problem which I have seen across the board.
So I'll give you a couple of examples. As we were working with AI since 2017, pretty early, I must say, within this generation. The problem currently is the promoters, the founders, and the board are actually looking for implementing AI, because somewhere they are hearing that AI can boost efficiency, boost productivity, all these things, and they're passing these ideas to their next level, probably the CFO, the CIOs, and the heads of plants, function heads. The basic problem with this idea is they are not focusing into solving their first problem, which is their data problem. AI can only work if you have a solid data management or data strategy in place. So if you call me and ask me to implement AI with a use case, the first thing is you need to focus into your data strategy and data management.
Right, very true.
And the biggest challenge that you will face, that these companies are not willing to do that correction before implementing AI.
Yes.
So if you see last 3-4 years journey with AI, there are several number of companies and several number of startups who are working on AI, building AI tools, building many AI use cases. They are actually failing because their pitch deck is saying that the ROI will be 95% boost in your effectiveness, efficiency, productivity, all these things. But you cannot measure it. The reason is your data is not there. So AI is actually a tool which is so basically what we are going to do with AI is an intelligent part of your process which can be implemented in your current process to make it more intelligent and more effective and more productive.
Of course.
So people should start first creating a good data strategy before going for an AI strategy.
So data first and then AI.
Yes.
That has to
because AI will work on data only.
Right.
So this is an extended version of data analytics, if I put it in a simple way.
Now I'll go back to a little behind. If I want to know more about your childhood, can you take us back to those days, that which kind of kid you were? Today, if, the way you see yourself today, were you exactly the same kid, or it's completely changed over the period of time? Can you take us to your childhood?
Definitely, life has changed a lot. Unfortunately, whatever I have planned never happened in my life. So as as a student, as a children, as a child, in my childhood days, my dream was to become a doctor.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I became an engineer. Then my dream was to join Indian Air Force, but I had a very bad accident during my college days. So that is why I couldn't join that.
Oh.
Then my next dream, which eventually came to life, and probably so as an electronics engineer, I was very bad at programming. Very bad in the sense, I can admit that I cannot write a program. Unfortunately, I leading a software
But
company.
you used to, you were able to run it to the dry code, like dry sheet, or?
No, I was very good in mapping business to logical steps, but
Okay.
I was not good at coding.
Doing the coding. Okay. No, yeah.
So my coding, till now, my coding is printing hello world. So
Okay.
that is the only thing I can write in any language.
And I remember that days, Let Us See was,
Let Us
Rishikesh
See.
Kanishwar was
Yes,
the famous
Let Us
book, so
See.
you had to struggle with it.
Correct.
Okay.
There is a very interesting story. Somehow, I think in second semester we had that Let Us See book and C as a subject. So I got 10 out of 10 in the exam.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
it was a shocking number for me also. Fortunately and unfortunately, questions were something which I read and I was able to answer. Now, in the next semester, there is a subject called data structure. So the first lab in the data structure, my teacher asked to write a program to see how we can write a program. Everyone was writing some star pattern and all these things.
Yeah.
So my program was again hello world. So he was so angry. He just asked me what was my number in my last exam. So I said 10. He just told me to go out of the lab and bring the mark sheet to prove whether I have 10 or not. So that bad I was. So the reason is, while I was reading electronics and communication, my intention was to go for a domain related job and not IT job.
Okay.
So my mind was completely closed. So I was, whenever there is a programming class, I was actually a closed person. I was good at electronics designing, all these things. I was very good at it. So, but this is a very good learning for me and for my team. I used to say to my team that if you think that you are closed, you cannot learn. And this I have experienced through my life.
And you used to follow that also, that time also.
Yes, but that time it was by design that I was closed. But the change, it happened nowadays. Whenever there is something new, I always try to be open to hear the ideas, because I know if I am close, I will not be able to understand. So during college time, during school time, so my journey was completely different. I was focusing into doctorate, then Air Force, nothing happened. Then I joined mining because I don't like software at that moment. So because I don't want to code. There is a very interesting interview happened with IBM. So I was the first ranker in IBM written. Then there all GDPI, all this exam, but unfortunately I was not aware. Later on I aware that there is a panel called rejection panel.
Okay.
It happened in every interview. So fortunately or unfortunately, I was part of that rejection panel. And the first question he asked me in the personal interview, what is the name of what is Babar's father's name?
Okay.
I had no clue. So I said, I don't know. And the interviewer said, okay, interview is done.
And that was the reason for the rejection?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's nothing technical, nothing else. Baburer Bahar naam ki. And it was in Bengali. The question was in Bengali. Interview happened in Techno India Kolkata campus. The person who interviewed is a Bengali. That is the only one question.
And the role they were hiring for is
IT.
IT. And this is very surprising. Maybe
Very surprising.
Yeah.
So it happened. And then also I decided I will not come to software. So I joined a mining company. Life was good. Some bitter experience, and then SAP. Then I started liking SAP at that moment. Because in SAP you need not to code, You can be a functional consultant, you can be business analyst or something. And that is how my transition happened from core to software.
Okay.
So, so if you say during my college or school days, if I was dreaming of having a business, no, it was not.
So far away, there was no such dream that
No.
one fine day will be a very successful entrepreneur. There's nothing. I mean,
No.
If I take you back to the 35 years ago, and somebody told you that one fine day you will be a very successful entrepreneur,
It
you
was not the
probably
case.
would have said what you are talking about.
Yes.
I mean, as far away, there is no such dream of.
Yes, but later part of life means once I was into that core business, core employment. So I was fortunate enough to learn management skills from my father before my MBA. He was part of sale top management. So his management style, though good and bad both, is completely inherited by me. There are some bad part of it as well, but I cannot avoid right now because being a child, I was completely so during that period I was just having all these things. I was seeing all these things, and those are coming to me by default automatically. So during this period of also, what I can see that there are few things that can be avoided, but as it is inherited, I cannot avoid. Then comes my MBA training on doing being a manager. Fortunate enough, our professors were good, and they were telling us that you don't be a manager. You should be a leader. There is a difference between a manager
Big
and leader.
difference. People oftentimes do these mistakes that
Yes.
manager and leader, but there is a huge difference between both.
Correct. So there is a mix of old school management. There is a mix of management degree ideas, and also there is another mix while doing my work in the core domain. There was also a management training program happened. So that management training, so three kind of training happened with me in the management side. So best of these three, I tried to use in my daily life. But again, if you say that if there was any idea of doing business, no. I liked doing business while I was in the core employment, but still it was not a concrete plan. Probably I can think like there was a discussion happening between me and my father that probably I can start a business after 45 years of age, but something small. Then I will not work, something like this.
Yeah.
But it's not something which was planned. Fortunately or unfortunately in my life, there are multiple events happened which was not planned. Until now, it proved a correct decision.
Is it somewhere related that because of those events, probably those events led you to choose the path to be an entrepreneur somehow?
Maybe. Because still, in the SAP world also, it was not decided to have our own company. It happened.
Somehow it happened.
Somehow it happened. So I recently visited a college. So they were asking me that how to start a business. So I said, you just start it. So there is a slogan used by Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
So it's the same thing, just do it.
While we are talking about your childhood, for many of us, in early life, there was some sort of influence. As you said that you learned a lot of things from your dad, and I'm sure there may be a teacher, maybe a professor in your college, where you learned not only the learning, you learned many things, but you were influenced. You liked the way they used to operate. As you said that the way your dad used to operate, it was fascinating, and you somehow inherited that. You got that. Was there any such instances?
First thing, definitely yes. My father played a very big role in our life while developing ourselves, not only from the management skills as a person as well. The next person who can be close to my father's in terms of influence is Ratan Tata. So I admired Mr. Tata a lot. The way he operate in the industry, I must say not business, because he used to say that I'm not a businessman, I'm an industrialist. So that is a way of doing business in Tata. So if you work with, so I work with many Tata companies, and many Tata companies are our client. So I see a difference working with Tata group of companies and any other companies.
And where exactly you see the difference? Is it like in terms of ethics, in terms of operating model? Where exactly you see the difference?
So they actually put ethics first.
Okay.
So I'll give you one example. So there was during COVID time, so everyone was working from home, and we missed to send invoice to one of the Tata group of companies 1 month. So I was shocked to get a mail from their CFO asking me to immediately send the invoice so that they can clear the bill immediately. This normally doesn't happen with any business. So if you are not sending bills, it is your problem.
Yeah, the book is closed.
There are a lot of companies, if you send the bill, the payment will come, though it is written 30 days, 45 days, it will come as per their will. But Tatas are actually follow the so they are normally saying that we are not their vendors, we are their partners. So that is the biggest, you say, biggest outlook towards their partners. So they say it is my partner ecosystem. If my partners are not doing well, I cannot do well.
We can observe here just by leveraging one word, they're actually providing the respect,
Yes.
credibility that
Yes.
comes into the ecosystem.
Yes. That is how they work. And most of the companies, most of the Tata group of companies are following the ethics first. Their ethic team, so whoever is deployed in any projects, they need to go a rigorous ethical training module. So if you need to work with Tata group, you need to go by that ethical training.
Okay.
So they put ethics first, then all these things.
We'll come back to the journey when you started building something new. You decided to build something new. When you came back, what was the biggest reality check you had in your mind? While doing the entrepreneurship, you decided, okay, now I'll leave my job, I'll start something new. But when you came back to India, and I'm sure you came back to India, and then probably the decision was there when you were there, but when you came back, you started to do something.
I came back to Mumbai, and then to Kolkata. So the first reality check while leaving the job is that you will not get a sweet message at the end of your month. So that's the first reality check you will. So you need to accept it on day one. Otherwise, it will be a shock in day 31st.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a big mindset change, because now people will look into you to get that message on 31st or 1st. So that is number one. Number two is the responsibility. Nowadays, what is happening inside me is I am not asking anything for me. I am asking for the entire team, because now if I have 30, 40 or 50 people, it's not the 50 people, it's 50 families are looking into you.
True, very true.
So the responsibility is not only your family and how to feed them, because it's another interesting thing happened in my interview with Capgemini. So at the end, the person was interviewing me in the final round. So he was a director at that moment. So he asked me, "Is there any question?" So I said, "Why you are with Capgemini?" So he said, "It's feed my family. That's the only reason." So I said, "Nothing else." Well, nothing else. Everyone is same. So you come and you enjoy this, right? But end of the day, it fits my family.
And the acknowledgement is so brutal that this fits my family. I mean, this is helping me to pay the bills as good as it is.
Correct. So now once you are into the opposite side of the table, the thing is, it is not only feeding my family, it is feeding 50 families.
It is a role of stewardships that if the ship is in danger, maybe I have to ensure that all the
Correct.
passengers are safe.
Yes. Though you are in danger.
Though you are in danger.
So you have to be in danger to keep others safe and then probably think about yourself. So any business, if you see in the business, in the entrepreneurship, the core thing remains what is taught by the military academy. You come last.
You come last, yeah.
So that is another thing. So after my father, Mr. Tata, there is another big influence that I have in my life is the military likings.
Like, did you have anyone in your family?
No, it was my liking to join Air Force.
Okay.
And the discipline and the uniform. So I love those life. So this is how it is. So ranking wise, this is the rank, and probably these are the core things that you should have to run a business. See, I also sometimes I used to say that probably I am not good at business because again I'm thinking about the people and all these things. But if you start doing this, probably in long run the thing will happen and fall in place, because then your team will be also thinking about the company.
Right.
They will not think only about this feeds my family. So this culture needs to be changed.
And it was which year you started your entrepreneurial journey?
It is so completely
you took the plunge and
2018.
2018. And okay, one thing which came to my mind, and this is again for all the audiences, all the who are listening to this episode. A lot of people have the idea. They are ready to start something. They're excited to start something while they're into job now. What are the top 3 things they should check? Because the safety has to be first, right? Whenever you travel to through a flight, it's always said that you first wear your mask before you help to the others, right? So what are the 3 things, the top 3 things they should keep in mind, and they should actually do the calculation before taking to the plunge?
See, I'm the wrong person to answer this, because all these things I never did. The unfortunate thing. The reason is, in my life, as I told you, there are instances where I took the decisions. Somehow it happened to be a right decision.
Somehow it worked out.
So I am not the right example. But what I will say, in our strategy classes, there are 2 concepts we read. One is blue ocean strategy and one is red ocean strategy. I was a bit old-fashioned. So there is a simulation. So one of my group member was very fascinating, and he wanted to do all this new stuff. So he voted for blue ocean. So I said, okay, let's do in the simulation. So we will do kind of thing. You drive the blue ocean strategy, I will drive the red ocean strategy. Why I'm giving this example, I'll tell you the impact on the business. So when we finally submit the simulation, we saw there was a steep jump in revenue in the blue ocean, but somehow we were not able to manage the cost. The problem with the startups are they're basically focusing into the features of the product. Now, if you give more feature, it will be more costly as a product. Now, whether the business needs or not, you are not doing that calculation or the research. So your cost of the product is going up. So you will be forced to either sell in a higher cost or cut down the cost and take a loss to grow. Now, what Red Ocean do is as the conventional way of doing business, where there are cutthroat competition, but you will survive. So there should be a balance between these two. So whenever you are thinking to come out from a stable job to start your business, you need to identify a few areas where you can stay afloat. The cash flow should start coming in, which can feed your initial team, and then think about the product. And before investing into the product, you also think about what is the problem in the market. So first identify the problem and then start building the product. And only with those needs that is actually required by the business.
So if I summarize this, the one you explained, so first thing is to identify the problem in the market, then skill about the product. But even before these 2 points, you should be good enough or corpus reserved to at least fit the team.
Not corpus reserved. I'll tell you, for example, if you are coming out of, say, for example, you are leading an HR organization in some company. Now, if you are coming out to build something as a product for the HR fraternity, you should start identify some service area in HR which can start giving you the payments. See, if there is a corpus, you will again think that I have money, I can spend money in building the product. First, you earn something for yourself, then start building the product.
The problem which you will identify, that can be catered in against the payment.
You get something as a payment, consulting, whatever it is.
It could be anything.
Anything. You start getting in the payment and invest into the product.
I'm very curious to know one thing. When you decided to take the plunge, as everybody said that people these days there are a lot of influencers who provides the knowledge that what you should do or should not do. And I completely understand that you took a plunge, and it was not a calculative decision. You took it and somehow it worked out. But still, on a reality, as a reality check, how many months of expenses you had with you? You had the runway basically, which you took the plunge. Because nobody is sure that, okay, if I start something, this will be successful. This may not be working out. I know a lot of people who started something and they eventually went back to their 9 to 5.
So as I told you, what we did, yes, there was a corpus, but I don't know how many months it could have survived me at that point. But what we did is we identified few areas where we can start pitching in, and we can start getting some projects or assignments which can feed to our corpus and which can feed to the company to hire few people and start thinking. Because the important thing, again, I'll always emphasis on this particular area, that you should earn money to spend money. So if you are thinking from day one that I will build an excellent product by taking funding and all, first thing is you first give value to the funds. Most of the startups, what is happening is they are getting a lot of funds because ideas are brilliant, but they don't know how to manage the fund. So end of the day, the runway is coming shorter and shorter day by day. Fortunately, till now, we are bootstrapped. No funding, no external funding happened. Probably we might need, we might not need, I don't know at this point in time. As of today, we focus into the balanced approach. So you earn and you invest.
So we talked about the runway, the decisive factor before you took the plunge to the entrepreneurship. What if, and by God's grace, by all your efforts, this worked out. What was your plan B? We all say this thing, and there is a very famous saying that there should not be any plan B. If the plan A is the primary, the only one plan, then this will work out. But what if this wouldn't work out? What was your plan B?
See, honestly, as of today also, I don't have any plan B. So the reason is, you said it rightly. You should focus into only one plan, and that plan. So I will not say there should not be any plan B. What I'm saying is, doing business should be your plan A. Now, to make it successful, you should have multiple plans. And in business terms, we are normally calling it as a strategies, different strategies. And while we are small, we are startup, we are scaling up, we should review the progress on those strategies, probably quarterly, not yearly. So normally when we are working with big companies, normally the strategies people are making for an year. So we saw company strategy, that is called corporate strategies. Then we have business strategies. We have a lot of function strategies. But this doesn't work in startups. So people coming from big industries and joining startups, because any companies, so I'm using the word startup, though probably what we can say that small companies. So what is happening now? These people coming to these small companies, firstly they think it will align with the big company structure. That is a first big mistake. Two different ships, two different way of handling. So suppose you make a plan for 1 year or strategy for 1 year. In such small companies, it is bound to fail, because every quarter there is challenge and you need to address those challenges.
Right, very true.
So normally what we are doing in our size of companies, we should not have a company strategy, which is called corporate strategy. We should not have a business strategy. We should have only one strategy that should align with all the functions, business and your corporate. That is how it should in a small size of companies. Now, if you talk about plan A, B, C, D, so you should try plan A in first quarter. If it doesn't work, then plan B, because you need to reimagine and reinvent things. Maybe you need to change the process. Maybe you need to change the people. I don't believe in changing people a lot. Better to reassign them with some work on which they are good and retrain them. So, for example, you might have think to start working with consulting. In first quarter, you can feel that consulting is something which cannot come to you because people are tending to the big names. Then will you stay for another 3 months or another quarter to see whether this will work or not? It is probably you can decide based on your appetite, based on your relationship, or you can try with something else which can start working in so that you stay afloat. So in my view, any small companies or small business or small startups should first think about staying afloat. That is the first thing. So in the business term, what we called it as a going concern. So you have to be a going concern. Profit comes in paper. Important thing is the cash flow. You should have a positive cash flow, whether it is profit, net profit, negative, whatever it is a secondary thing. For any business, the important thing is to be in the positive cash flow. So you should focus into the positive cash flow first, not revenue, not profit. That is the foremost and important thing of a small company. Be a owner of the company, be a finance head or CFO, whatever you called it, but the focus should be positive in cash flow. To be in the positive side, if you need to have 4 kind of plan, you can have. That's not a problem.
So the doing the business should be the only plan.
Yes.
There is no such plan B. If not the business, then something else that should not be.
You can make sure that you are not going to do business because you have a plan B.
Rather, within business, the different pillars can be there.
Correct.
And the 2 key things which we heard today, that is staying afloat and staying in the game.
Yes.
Because most of the people, a lot of people, I know they started, but they quit. After a certain point of time, they feel that it's not going to work out, they quit.
So I'll tell you one thing. So whenever we are preparing a business plan or something, so we always plan it, right? So in our way of doing planning, so we may say by 2030 we will be 500 CR, 1000 CR, all these things. But the thing is, this planning doesn't, you can't control this, right? So the people in modern area are normally saying that we can control our future and all, but that's not a problem. That is not possible. So the thing is, it is the environment and the universe is actually planning something big for you. So if your wavelength is matching with the universe wavelength, so probably this is going to the spiritual world.
No, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I mean, everything is interrelated if we think of.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your plan, if it is matching with that universe plan, you may achieve. So business plan, it may be very lucrative, but reality, once you are into the reality doing the business, no plan will work. So you need to take calls based on the situation. So if you see the successful captains of any play, maybe cricket, football, anything. So those team games, I'm talking about, not the tennis and the badminton, because you can't take decisions, right? So there just need to perform. But in suppose you are a captain of a team and playing test crickets, and you have a lot of strategies discussed in the dressing room, but while into the game in the field, you need to take more decisions, and it may not align with the decisions you have taken in the dressing room. So you need to be prepared to take calls based on your situation.
Sure.
So based on the situation, you need to create that plan B to stay afloat. So your main plan A is to be in the business.
That is the main lever which will operate
Yes.
for the underlying layers.
Correct.
Got it. And coming back to your entrepreneurial journey again, circling back. So when you decided to start that entrepreneurship, which problem you decided to resolve? Because any such entrepreneurship is ideally, there has to be a why factor, and you figured out. I'm sure you figured out that what was your why factor. So knowing your why is very important.
I told you that it was to get rid of the employment journey. That was the first.
No, that may be. I'm taking it in this way that get rid of the employment journey and starting something. That was probably the reason for it. But what I'm more curious to know that once you started it, which segment of problem? Sure.
So first is get rid of employment. Second is to generate employment. So that was the first two thing was in my mind to start business. Now, as I told you, so I am not a big fan of creating products and solving problems initially without knowing the problems, because I may think this is a problem in the industry, but probably that's not a problem for the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So first you need to identify how to be in the business, do something, because as we are in India, though it might sound as a controversial topic, but we tend to focus into the service industry more than the manufacturing industry, probably because of our mindset, probably because of our upbringing, probably because of we are not into very much into the capex model. I'm not very comfortable with capex project, because probably I started my working career in different segment. So in the OPEX, what we are normally doing is we first earn, then identify problems, and then start solving those problems. So for earning, what we did is we started with service. Then we are thinking of products. We have different AI products that we built in 2017. Till now, we have a very good platform. And we are solving many problems for many big companies in the world. But if you say that day one, we have probably thought about any products or any problems, I don't think we did it in this way. Mm-hmm. Many startups in today's world are saying, I will solve this problem, that problem, but we were not into that.
You were a little different on that.
Yes.
You went on OPEX model because yes. I believe to go with the CAPEX approach, probably not all the CAPEX are bootstrapped.
Correct.
Maybe there has to be some VC funding and all.
Yes.
That is one thing. And going with OPEX is another advantage. Like you can, I would not say scale it up. You can change the lever in any certain part of time of the business.
Correct.
And as you said that we first earned, so through that service, you earned through the service, and then you try to figure out the next step. So while doing it, you catered the service on SAP related stuff. You catered the service SAP related. So you catered the service to multiple clients.
Yes, to start with, yes.
On SAP.
On SAP.
Okay. And as an entrepreneur, if I ask you that, okay, what was your first breakthrough? What would you call out? We all have an aha moment, right? That, oh, this is nice. This is fantastic.
So, if I talk about the first thing is, you while we have a very good product, so launching our first product is very nice moment for us. Uh, but the more important thing is that to keep the business running and to keep the team as we have in the initial days, probably to keep the same team with us is something probably we can say it's one of the biggest achievement we have. And definitely there are many other moments from 2018 till today that probably this is one of the best day in our life, that this happened, that happened. But definitely the product side of it, and when we have client appreciation that you are doing something which is very good, there are conversations where people, the senior people, are saying that I'm discussing only this with you, don't take it to someone else, because I really trust you and I trust your suggestion on this particular topic, this particular subject is something is definitely very motivating for us.
And from 2018 to till date, if I ask you which year you are proud of, you did. I'm not asking you to call that out, but you know that which what went well. Which year was you are most proud of? Things went extremely well.
I will not take this particular thing on which year things went very well, but if you ask me on which year we are proud of, is that we have survived the COVID period. So
True.
probably
Very true.
I might say that this 3 years, if or maybe 2020 and 21st, entire 2 years, we keep the same team. We kept the same team actually, and probably right now also the same team is going on, and we survived that period all together. So that's probably one of the biggest achievement. Yes.
Yeah, because we have seen companies
Shutting down.
could not even pay the salary. They asked their employees to go on sabbatical. Even some of the companies had to shut their operation.
Yes.
So surviving through that during that period was extremely something to be proud of.
Correct.
Yeah.
Many ask questions on this, that you are a 6-year-old company, but that growth story is little behind. But you have to also consider those 2.5 years of time that you survived. You didn't
survived.
grow, definitely, yes, but you survived. So that is probably one of the biggest.
And the journey is not like an employment that, okay, you are today you're a lead and being a manager, senior manager, director, VP, not like that. It's not a linear one. It's a different journey altogether. Some years may not work well. Some quarters numbers are not proper. But that doesn't stop you to go towards.
Correct.
I met some of the founders. They decided to start their business in abroad. I know one of the founder who decided to open up the first office in Latam region, Mexico. And then the second office was in India. If I see your journey, you came back and started the thing in India. Rather, if I call it out particularly from Kolkata. How did you choose, or why you chose to start something in India or specifically to Kolkata instead of Bangalore or Mumbai or Delhi? You were in Mumbai in your corporate. Why Kolkata?
So why Kolkata is basically coming back to the roots. So I'm a bit homesick initially, not only initially, right now also. So we are still living in a joint family. So that is one of the reason why Kolkata. Definitely, we could have go to some other part, but I still believe that we do have a lot of things to do in this part of the world, and we have ample opportunities. We have great institutions in eastern part of the world, so we will definitely get good talents here as well. Probably we need to attract more good talents here. So that is one reason. So to come to India and definitely to come to Kolkata. And currently, as we see, things are moving in the positive direction in eastern part of India as well. So if you see both from logistics part, from IT, so there are hubs getting created near Durgapur. Uh, then there are multiple IT hubs are actually promoted in Siliguri, Durgapur. So not only in Calcutta, so there are multiple other tier 2, tier 3 cities which are probably coming in. So I have a personal aspiration to also grow in those cities. So that is another thing we are also thinking to move.
And nowadays we see, you rightly said that we see the growth coming up from even the satellite cities, not specifically from metro. People are these days they prefer to stay to satellite cities or tier 2, tier 3 cities, because these days if you have an internet connection and a laptop, people are good to start the business. It could be anything. I'm not talking about the big corporate setup. Eventually that can be scaled up, but people are ready to take the leap. And the mindset change, from mindset and shift from corporate to entrepreneurship. While you were into your job, you had one kind of mindset. 31st, I'm getting paid, I'm good to go. Then now, as you said, you are more concerned, even before you are more concerned about your team, because it's not about 50 or 60 members, it's about 50, 60 families. So if I ask you, what is the definition of freedom for you today? I'm sure in corporate people say, oh, I'm getting paid, my weekends are sorted, I'm freedom. Or maybe if I go towards a little extent, probably I have a decent corpus. I can go 2 years, 3 years without doing even the job, or maybe a corpus which can yield a significant amount of money, at least can take care of my expense, maybe financial freedom, maybe somebody has a time freedom. Eventually financial freedom will give the time freedom. But today, if I ask you, what is the definition of freedom to you? What would you say?
First of all, personally, I do not believe there is any financial freedom at all. We are talking about that money cannot buy anything. But to say this, you have to have a lot of money.
Enough
right?
money.
So, financial freedom, the people are saying that we have a financial freedom because either they have a successful business running in autopilot mode, or they have enough investments that is also generating funds and wealth for them. Then only you have a financial freedom. So there is some engine is actually running behind you. So to run that engine, either you have to have a successful business, or a successful investment plan. And what I believe, to create a massive wealth which can give you those kind of stereotype freedom, you definitely need to be in business, not into the job, because job cannot create wealth. It can only create EMIs. Though in business also we create EMIs, but the final outcome, that exponential growth can only come through business, not through job. There are a few instances where people earn so much money due to acquisition, probably spin-off, all these things. But right now, we are not fortunate enough to get all these.
And the percentage is very less.
Yes.
If I talk about those class who are probably their RSUs spiked up.
Correct.
Maybe they have accumulated a lot of RSUs which will spiked up. Maybe you rightly said. Those numbers are very less segment-wise.
Correct. So I think if I define freedom is to take decisions, is to take whether to go ahead with this particular issue or that particular issue, this project, that project. So probably these are the kind of freedom that you can have. Other than that, if I talk about if I am in business, I am allowed to come at 12 o'clock. I am allowed to go home, say for example, at 4 o'clock in the evening and spend life with my kids. This kind of freedom you will not get in business. Your weekends will be all choked up with some other thing. So these freedoms will not be there, but end of the day, you will have a peace of mind that what I am doing is actually what I am intending to do. So these are the things, because no one is putting some pressure on you to do. Yes, there are some pressure from client. You need to deliver, you need to You need to grow with your company numbers. You need to grow in numbers in terms of people. All these things are there, but there is some peace of mind that we are doing something which is actually owned by me. The ownership is lying with me. I'm not talking about the ownership of the company. It's the ownership on the decisions.
Nobody is there to take the decision on your behalf. It is you who decide the thing, even if it goes right, goes wrong, but you are still accountable for it. Nobody else
In
is
control.
in control. So nobody is taking control for you to take the decision. That's the
Right.
biggest freedom you feel.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
thing. And now I'll talk about that. I'll be more curious to know from you about the failures. As corporate professional, as an entrepreneur, any of the career, it is inevitable. The path is not linear. There has to be some setback, some sort of
It is always a sine curve,
always a
if
sine
I can
curve.
say.
Yeah,
Like this.
sine curve, and which people will again think and started thinking, rethink about themselves that whether they're doing the right thing or not. What was the toughest time you had during this journey? You had a really tough time, apart from COVID, apart from any other catering service, which have made you to think that are you on the right track? Can you tell us?
It's not a direct answer to it. So, what I will say, the failure in terms of doing business is basically the transition from being an employee who is responsible for delivery to an employer who is responsible for sales, not marketing, sales. So, uh, as a person, so I spent quite a number of years as a delivery person, and transition into sales is something very difficult. And I'm not good at sales at all. I was also not good at sales. We were good at sales, which is delivery related sales. Now, this transition is something which is bit fear factor comes in, because sales is an art, which is a different kind of art, and you need to be always on top of your clients. Always you need to speak with them, do follow-ups regularly. So sometimes what we have happen to be in our mind that these people are not responding, probably they are ignoring. So it is something probably a fear factor for me. This is one. And one big fear that probably we have in mind is that there are n number of things which is out of our control, like geopolitical issues, COVID. So, so uh, how to cross these problems? Maybe how to navigate the seeps to these problems. So these are the biggest fear and challenges that we have always in our mind.
Some sort of challenges always there in your mind that if somebody is not responding or
Yeah, so that's a
probably
personal
not showing
fear,
up
but
in time.
from the organizational viewpoint, probably the things which is out of our control. So how to handle those, keeping again the same team, same motivation, all these things. So these are the challenge and fear
like
factors we
natural
have.
calamity,
Yes.
situations like COVID, geopolitical issues.
Any conflicts.
I know someone who had a huge stake in the business in again the part of the globe where now it is affected in by the geopolitical issues in the
Yes.
world. So that's the worrisome, and we really cannot control it.
Correctly.
Totally agree. And if you could go back today to your day one as an entrepreneurship, what would you do differently? Now you are more seasoned, more experienced. You have burned your hands many times during this entrepreneurial journey, and you learned the things from that. Obviously, there's a learning. But what if you could go back to the day one? What would you do differently?
So during this journey, what happened is, as a person, I become more calm. So nowadays, earlier what was happening is any issues or any negative things that coming up to me, I tend to respond immediately. It is not a respond. It was basically a reaction of the thing. Nowadays, I am not responding, or I am not reacting. Is completely, I'm not reacting at all. I'm not responding as well. So what is happening? What I am thinking is, if it is something which is related to the company, and if it is something which I can control, then only I will act. Otherwise, no, because there is a very classical flow chart that I have in my desk. Is, I'll just quickly tell you that
Sure.
the main box says, "Is there any problem?" And then it says yes and no.
Two arms, yes.
Two
and
arms,
no.
yes and no. If it is no, why to worry? If it is yes, then another decision box come in. Whether you can do something, yes and no. If it is yes, again, why to worry? If no, again, you can't do anything. So
Then
why to worry? So so you have to be very calm and see the things. If you can control, don't think so much. You control it. If you can't, leave it. Don't react. Otherwise, what will happen? It will just increase your BP.
Increase your BP, it will increase your stress level, it will,
Yes.
and that will lead to take you maybe not
A bad
right
decision.
bad decision,
Yes.
probably.
So that is one biggest learning I have from the business journey, and another very classical learning I have from one of my managers in my earlier working life is, if you are angry on something, on anything, maybe professionally or personally, don't do anything. You just go away from that particular moment, have a cup of coffee. During that time, he said, have a cup of coffee, and you come back, and you just then. So there was a context, there was a heavy escalation by the client, and there was no fault of my team. So I immediately wrote a very nasty mail, and he was just behind me. He was reading the mail from top to bottom. It took 7 minutes to respond or react to that mail. So after that, he said, "Stop, don't send. Chal chai pi ke aate hain." So I was in Mumbai that time. So I just came back from on site for few weeks. So he said, "Chal chai pi ke aate hain." So I, okay, let's go. But I was very angry on that particular instance.
And you had an urge to respond as soon as possible.
Yes. So we came out, we had a coffee, and we discussed a lot of things apart from that particular problems. Completely different thing. What is happening in Norway? How is the snowfall is happening? All these things.
Yeah.
After that, once I am completely done with the coffee, and the thinking is now not with that incident, but something else. So he said, very interesting, two lessons. So I had a very good two lessons from him. One is this. So he said, now I'll tell you one thing. You go back and read the entire mail. If you can't, if you don't change the wordings, I will resign immediately. I said, why? So he said, this is psychology. If you are angry and if you are in a very good mood, don't do anything. Just go away. Because that time you are not rational. And actually, the mail I wrote is a completely different mail.
Sure.
So this was a second learning from him, and the first learning I had from him was, there was a appraisal cycle. We all know the brilliant bell curve in all the
model,
industries.
yeah.
So obviously I was very unhappy with the ratings and all. Though I fought for my team, and few of them got good rating, but my rating was very normal. Though I meet everything and all. So this was my first evaluation in the software industry. So I was not happy, and that during that time my expression actually showed that I am not happy. So he was just around. So he said, again, let's have a chai pe charcha. I said nothing to discuss. He said, no, it's not a discussion about your ratings and all. These are all published. I can't do anything. But I will have some other discussion. So I said, okay, let's go. So by age, he was almost in my father's age. So we went.
He was that senior.
Yes. He was, that time he was a VP of our company.
Okay.
So we went to that discussion room. So he said, so what is your age? So I said, X is my age. So he said, you have X number of years left in your life. Yes. So, what will happen if you don't get a promotion now, and if someone else is getting a promotion now? Because the race is not in one. That time, the T20 was just a new entrance into the cricketing world. So he said, "This your career is not a T20; it's a test match.
Right.
So someday this fellow will do well, someday you will do well, but it's a 30 years or 35 years of journey." So he explained everything, and he said, after 10 years, you see where you are after 10 years and where he will be. I said, okay. So it is actually, now the problem was little sorted. So again, everything was happening, all these things were happening. Again, after 4 or 5 years, when I was about to leave, there was another rating happened. During the entire time, something sometimes good, sometimes bad, the average, all these things happened. So again, there was a mid rating. So that time the manager changed, new manager came in, and fortunately it's a Bengali manager.
Oh.
So after getting the rating, so I was in mind, I prepared to resign. So without the rating and all, but it happened in that way. It rating came and I put the paper down.
You expected that the rating will not be good?
No.
Or maybe
It was not related to rating.
not related to rating. It was already decided.
Yeah, it was decided to move away. But that thing happened that once the rating come in, and then I put down the paper.
Okay.
So immediately wrote a message, I want to discuss.
Okay.
So, okay. What is the reason? I don't know. So he started with the call with all the explanation why the rating was medium and not the top. So I said, okay, everything discussed. Then he said, now tell me what is the problem. I said, there is no problem. I have put down my paper, the resignation, to leave. It is nothing to do with the rating. She said, "Arey boss, I spoke about 30 minutes on this. I didn't ask you to tell these things, na? You only started the discussion. I said all okay.
Yeah.
But my intention is to leave. Whether you are giving me 1, 2, 5, I don't care. I'm leaving. So that is what my point is." So again, after 10 years, obviously I am into the business, he is into the job. So all these things happened. But these are two good lessons. So one is that life is a big race. So sometimes you will be in front.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon. So you need to deal with the marathon like a marathon. And similarly, once into the business, also again, you will be some bad days, some good days. So you should be in the balance mode.
Between react and respond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always try to respond, not react.
And like your ex-boss, I remember something, I got the learning from one of my leader who told that the email language has to be polite enough, but the messages should be loud and clear.
Yes.
A message should be loud and clear does not mean red, bold email or harsh language email. The language has to be always polite enough, but the message should be loud and clear.
Correct. So, you have to be firm but polite.
But polite, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because who is reading, he is not seeing you. So sometimes what happens in the communication, our body language expresses a lot of our mood. But in the email or a text message, normally the thing is not like that.
Correct.
So the people is reading is based on his or her mood. He is not able to see you. So that has to be in the normal tone.
Finally, for the audience, we had a fascinating discussion. We learned a lot of things. I personally learned a lot of things. For someone sitting in a comfortable corporate job today, they have a thought to starting up something. Now, in today's era, keeping in mind that AI can do a lot of things by their own. What would be the message for them from your side?
So there is a famous quote by Nike, just do it. So it is always just do it. But at the same time, you also need to ask yourself whether you definitely want to do it or not. It is not the sake of the world is doing startup or the world is running after AI and creating products. So whether you personally want to build something, maybe a small kirana store, maybe it's a big AI startup, anything. But that pride needs to come from yourself. You cannot plan the entire next 30 years because again, this is a marathon.
And more than that, this is an unprecedented
Correct.
way
So you don't
to figure it
know
out.
what is coming. We were not anticipated a COVID kind of situation where the entire world will be shut down. So you can't plan your 30 years.
Mhm.
So you need to react or respond to the incidents coming or the universe is throwing to you, right? So, and definitely one point is luck factor is a big factor. I always believe not only in business, in any part of your life. For example, your exam, entrance exam, anything. You are brilliant in something, but probably on that day you are not well.
True.
That doesn't click. The first question doesn't click. Your entire exam is miss. So it doesn't mean you are a bad people.
The timing factor is
Yes.
very
So
important.
that again. So science can say a lot of things, but if you go back, you may say it's a luck factor. Many people say there is nothing called luck. It is the timing. Yes, it is right. So again, luck, timing, your capability. I'm 100% capable of doing a lot of things, but probably my time is not allowing me to do that. So that means I can say my luck is not favoring.
And that's why we always see if you see the quote, the newspaper or the magazine, it is written that people who believes only on the efforts, but it is still written efforts plus luck equal to result.
Yes.
Is equal to result.
Correct.
So result is not only because of efforts, not only because of luck. Somebody is only waiting for the luck right time to happen. It won't work out.
It will not come because if you believe in astrology, so they said probably they can say that your luck is fantastic, your this is that and that. But if you are sitting in home, idle, just sitting in home, someone is saying you may become a king, but I'm sitting at home, so no one will come and tell me you become a king. You need to try to become a king. Then probably the universe will give you that opportunity to become a king. Sure. So you need to try. So again, in business also, suppose you are good at something, you try to build business around that. But you need to start somewhere and from zero. There is nothing called that I can start from 100. And you cannot do both together, job and business.
So basically, there is no right time. The time
There is no right time. So in again, that there is a famous quote in share market. There is no right time to invest in share and go out from a share. It is up to you when you want to start, when you want to go out.
And they say the good time is tomorrow and the best time is today.
Correct. So it is always like this. Yeah. If you want to start, you start it today. Just do it.
Right. Thank you so much, Tamal, for the fascinating discussion. We learned a lot of things from your corporate and entrepreneurial journey, and I'm sure audiences who are watching this have a lot of takeaways to implement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supriyo. Thank you, Bridging Ideas, to invite us into this podcast. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Take a moment, reflect on this conversation, because sometimes one idea is all it takes to change everything.